All right, peace and black power, everybody. I want to welcome you to another NCRBGZ Productions. And again, today we have another great show lined up. We got a great panel. We got different people up here, different perspectives, and we're going to talk about some topics that is some things. We're going to come up with some solutions, and we're going to sit here and build like we always do. With that being said, y'all know who I am. My name is Stuart. I thank everybody for taking their time to be up here. I also thank you for watching the playback. Make sure you like the video, you thumb the video up, and you subscribe to the YouTube page. With that being said, I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. Cam.
Yes, sir. I'm Cam. Never Unk. I'm a Ray. Walking affiliation, RBG affiliation. You know, there's a brother from around the way. I'm here to learn, listen to learn. I don't know everything. I'm pretty sure nobody do. So I thank y'all for coming out tonight. And that's it. Who's next?
My name is Kim, and this is my first time on the show. I was invited by Kim, and I'm just here to learn, to listen, hear everybody else.
And this is Sean, Minnesota. Just here to correspond and see what's certain questions to just see, how people are thinking about things.
I'm Marquis Riddick from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I'm a good friend of Stuart's. Met a few years ago. So I'm speaking of a community activist, or case may be. I'm all for the youth. I'm actually a chairman for early Head Start schools and a lot of other things also. That's about it.
My name is Denzel Reye. I'm actually located in Philly. I was introduced by a brother named Nabat. And
Peace. Rabbi.
Peace. Rabbi.
We got Mona. Mona, you want to introduce yourself?
Greetings, family. My name is Mona. I'm here to dialogue and just build in that way. So, peace to each one of you, kings and queens.
Okay.
Gods and goddesses. Can't wait. It's always good.
Oh, all right. Well, Stuart's doing something right now, so he left me in charge of this show for a little bit. So we want to start off talking about this coronavirus update. Y'all using y'all taking y'all breach injections yet? Y'all last saw injection?
Wow. So what do you make of that comment? Do you think that was I know many people did watch it, and that was the words. My mother and I had a conversation. She's like, he said we have seen it in the media, or do you believe that the media distorted anything?
He said what he said. He meant to me. I think he meant what he said. You know, Trump talks about speaking a lot of times. A lot of times. We all do, but a lot of times with him. And if it wasn't an idea in his head, he should have kept that to himself. I mean, that's Trump.
And look, before I go, let me throw this in there. I'm gonna just throw something in there. Is tea tree oil a disinfectant? I'm just to throw some questions out there. If you use tea tree.
Tea tree oil is an antimicrobial, antiviral, antibacterial. So
it would be a disinfectant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is using tea tree oil a bad thing?
Now, but not it's like, for example, if you got 16 ounces of water, you need to make sure you have like the food grade version and not the like the version that you would use to like burn like in incense, because they add other additives in it. If you get the food grade one, you just put a few drops in, maybe like 2 drops for every 16 ounces. So I mean, that's fine. It's just like with oregano oil, that right there is an antimicrobial, antiviral, antifungal, and so forth. It's just you don't want to overdo it. I hope that makes sense.
I mean, y'all go ahead. I just threw that in there before I about to leave. I like controversy. So you know me. I like to throw stuff.
You love it. Let's do it.
So you mean to tell me you do that controversy? Oh, okay.
Hey,
Raul Bat family, can I be here?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not sure about no tea tree oil, but I know that coconut oil is definitely a safer option as far as gargling coconut oil with a little bit of water. It has the same properties, antimicrobial, antibacterial properties in coconut oil. Raw filtered coconut oil is again, like the sister said, without the other ingredients, is something that is an alternative to tea tree oil, but it's something that it doesn't have the harmful effects to the body, and it's something that you can directly gargle in the in the mouth to kind of fight off a lot of the microbes and bacteria in the mouth. If that
Yeah, I
makes sense.
co-sign with you. You're correct because like coconut oil, like you use that as part of leaky gut syndrome, which causes like autoimmune diseases.
And I would say I'm glad because when Stuart, when you first posed the question, I didn't know if you were saying it being ingested because you used it on topical surfaces, and I know definitely is an antifungal and that type of thing. So I wasn't even thinking about internally taking it.
Yeah.
I probably change the subject a little bit. This is Marquis. I'm kind of confused about the new symptoms that they're talking about that they came up with all of a sudden. Because it sounds like me, that's like stuff that we already get from time through the winter weather, the fall or the winter or whatever. But the new symptoms they got going on, I'm kind of confused up to the hospitals or for checkups or whatever. What it sounds like to me. So people get less small, little symptom of a regular common cold, just to give them a hospital, get them tested and throw something in their face and they got something on it. So like I said, I'm kind of confused with, like I said, with these symptoms. So what y'all intake on that?
Every day is something, man. Every week is something different, I'm just trying to learn like everybody else, What do you think, Brother Sean? How's the impact up there in this?
We're not really, it's not really hitting too hard up here. But my biggest thing is that, I hear people talking about the black seed oil, tea tree, all that. That's good. But if you're not addressing the deficiencies, which most especially black people, is not getting 120 trace minerals that they need a day for the body to function properly. So you already in a deficiency with trace minerals, and your body needs that. So even if you use this stuff, it's good. But if you're not getting the trace minerals that you need, the 100, I think it's 102, you still gonna have these diseases can come. Your body will not be able to fight it off. So I think we have to start addressing the diet. We can't be eating sweet potato pies and what we love, all that stuff, because we got to really figure out what is our diet. And, we talk about the Hebrew thing and the Kemetic thing, but no one talks about what would we eat, because they didn't have no butter beans, they didn't have that. Those things are hybrid things, so once we get to the point where we start to, somebody create need to create like a black a cookbook that address our genetic disposition. You get what I'm saying? Because we haven't, and that's why they say, well, the black people the corona gonna hit them hard, because they know you have a deficiency. We're eating the king's meat. We was never eating this stuff. So we go to the grocery store, we gonna get us some neck bones and all of that, but thousands of years ago, you ain't had no neck bones. So, but these things is not what your body as black folks need. White people can eat blood in their meat. They eat bloody meat. They can live 110 years with their blood, but if you eat it, it gonna kill you in 6 months. So I think we have to just start trying to figure out how do we get these trace minerals, get back to a natural, to apply a lot of this stuff, and you're not getting the trace minerals that we need, you'll be, I think we all, black people is at risk, even though I don't think we're at risk when it comes to other factors, but being that if it attaches itself to people that's got a deficiency and a weakened immune system, same thing they did with the AIDS. I was researching that, and that attaches to people who have a deficiency, in their bodies already. Get a diet that feed us properly, and they took that away from us. Even Africans, they eating blood and starch too, and so how do we find things
I got a question, Sean. I got a question.
give us life?
You mentioned the black cookbook, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that Dr. Sebi's is efficient?
I think when he said he really, he only could work with what he knew. You get what I'm saying? It's better than nothing, but he's still, like he said, we don't know. He didn't know. Only thing we can try to do, because that was stolen. And so, and he even said that, but you try to figure out what and versus things that's genetically altered. But most of the things we eat is genetically altered. But if we get back to some of those things, it's just like salad. They was not eating salad. but we've been told, what was gonna keep it? They had, you know what I'm saying? They had no refrigerator, no deep freezers or refrigerator. Was what gonna keep the salad? They was eating natural things, but it's like we eat in a whole different way, and then we have these problems that they didn't have back then. And I think the body can heal itself if we can put those things back in it, and we find a way to try to find out what our native diet is. If we can hit that, we can destroy any disease. But I think all of this stuff now is going to wake people up. You know, I hear a lot of people talking now about natural supplements and this and that. 5 years ago, people weren't really talking about that. So I think now people is waking up to it, but I do think we have to start watching what we eat, because cakes and, you know, they can eat that. That's what they eat, but it's killing us, you know.
How do you eat, brother? How do you eat, man? Not trying to be in a debate about it, right? But how do you eat? You a vegan?
For me, how do I eat?
Right.
You asked a question?
Yeah.
I really don't eat too much meat. I'm not a meat eater, but my family is. I eat mostly like fruits, things like that. I don't eat as much vegetables as I should, you know, but I got a juicer now, so so I'm gonna start trying to juice some stuff. But I really don't, I'm not a big meat eater, but I know my family is. And, you know, I've lost, within about 2 years, I lost 7 people in my family. And I just think that food is a part of it, you know. So you know, it don't happen, you know, you know, you eat that way for a while or something like that. But I think the body can, people's been getting this virus. This is not nothing new. And they trying to make it seem like it's something new, but people been getting corona. It's what, 2,000 or 3,000 different kind of coronaviruses. People been getting that. So that part is nothing new. Now, it probably can be genetically modified. You know, I do think that has a part in it, you know, to really attach itself the way they're trying to make it do. But I do think, like, if you have deficiencies in your body, you're gonna have all kinds of problems. You're gonna get sick more. You're gonna be susceptible to certain kind of virus, funguses, and all kinds of stuff. Not just one part, but a holistic. You know, back to, you know, what we should be doing. You know, I think we'll be all right. But I think it's coming. But I hope it don't come with a price where we lose a lot of people. You know, that's the thing, because there's a lot of people that saying, hey, it's not real, and they're just going out and they're kicking it. You know, all people. Then they say, well, let's open Georgia up. Let's open the barbershops. Let's open the barbershops, the nail salons, and everything that black people like to do. Let's open that up. You know, what they want to say. Let's see how it's gonna kill. What they gonna do to these people first. But that's what we gotta understand. Like, we can't keep being, you know, just not aware of what's going on. We really need to be on our game right now. You know, we need to be. If you get that stimulus check, take you $200 or $300 and go get you some herbs that feeds the immune system. You know, but I think, you know, I don't know if people are gonna do that, but I think we're at that point now, because we can't go to the doctor. See, we can't go to them. You can go to them, but you may not come out of there. They said heart attacks is down 30%. So motherfuckers, I mean, people with heart attacks sitting around said I'd rather just take a chance on falling dead at home with a heart attack before I have to go into the doctors, you know. So so that's the thing. Like, we got to get, you know what I'm saying, what you drinking. You know, if you're not drinking nothing that's giving you life, you're drinking something to kill you. You know, and that's the biggest thing, man. We just got to get to that point. And I think we're at a breaking point right now, because everybody's on the edge. But there's a lot of black people just turning. It's a good thing that Dr. Sebi got the attention that he did, because now people is really waking up to say, hey, let's start trying some natural things. So I think that's good. I think if we stay on that track, man, we'll be all right.
Okay. Brother Dentet Rai, that's it, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, what do you think?
You know, I think that's a very important subject, because actually I do have something that I want to share with everybody, just to kind of, like, I guess, spark, you know, a little bit more of the conversation. And, you know, I've always been listening to the teachings of Dr. Malachi York. I don't know if everybody's familiar with, and he talked about, you know, study of DNA, you know, and I just wanted to read this one part, because it does talk about this subject about, you know, our diet, you know, if I may.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, so it says here that this is actually a book that he wrote. It was called, you know, the You All, and he says, all of you should think more on taking proper things into you, such as your diet, such as the air you breathe, such as what or who you exchange fluids with. This you can learn through the teachings of Wunuwupu or Wusabat, the actual facts. He says improper diet and any and all intake is another hindrance to spiritual progress. Your divine you is drugged, asleep, in a deep coma, making you impotent. He says that all intake have distinct energies. And he says, just as the physical body is formed from the gross physical portions of the foods, drinks, air that has taken the body to build it, even the air that we breathe and what's in it, even the sounds that you hear and the effect the vibrations have on your nervous system, all of this affects us. He says, even the lights and color that you see and the effect of light waves or rays have on your mind. And he says that each affected by outside forces and inside reactions. If the intake is impure or diseased, the mind sends that message to your builders of your being. So we were talking about how, like the brother was saying, how people have been getting coronavirus. This is not a new disease. However, if you're not eating proper diet, or if you have a lot of blood meat, and meat causes uric acid inside of your body, which can cause arthritis, inflammation in other areas, then yes, that it makes your immune system to be compromised. But I think that it's to kind of take it like from a whole holistic perspective, is it's not just the food, but it's our environment, and part of our environment is also killing us if we don't create a healthier climate. And so he was just explaining how if you study your DNA, he says to learn to cook and eat your own meals, until you return back to Africa. He was saying, he says that we're Africans, but a lot of us as African Americans will not identify that, so then we won't necessarily know what foods we can gravitate to. And he says that it's more than just bad food and blood meat. It's what you breathe, it's who you sleep with, it's all around you. And he says that you are out of placement as far as the environment and what natural nature would have provided for you. So we're more open to disease, not eating what grows where our ancestors' DNA grew. And so, like the brother was saying about, Caucasians or white people that are giving us these, unbalanced diets, and they're eating the blood meat and having their steak rare, which is pretty much raw. All of this is basically affecting, our diet and our systems of health, because we're looking at the Caucasians being like the superior, the authority. When just basically genetically, just as African people, we predate them, And so I think that we should now take upon ourselves a diet that will basically rebuild your immunity, but you would have to know what foods are agreeable to you and what foods are disagreeable to you. And so their ancestral tree may not be able to eat the same foods that were maybe considered healthy. Like let's say, we always used to go to Thanksgiving and get your collard greens, your turkey, your mashed potatoes, your gravy, and everything like that. But, that is a diet that has been trickled down through slavery. So now, what do we do now? Do we remove, if we're going to remove what they call the soul food, which is really not food for the soul, then what do we replace this unhealthy diet with? And will it still repair my body and build my immune system up to a much stronger level? What gives me immunity? So I think that at that point, we need to really just diagnose ourselves. So that's just what I wanted to share with everyone.
This is Mark Cuban again. The brother that spoke a while ago, you said the word I'm looking for, the soul food. But we still, our history goes back to that soul food. People still use to this day about the soul food, and that what they say, that why you gonna run from what you was raised up on, all that stuff. So I'm not just need a little push. What trips me out sometimes is that we have brothers and sisters that pass, no matter that or die for diabetes or high blood pressure or whatever, and of course it comes from what we consume. So it just mighty strange that we know that we have a family member that passed a blockage in their artery, stuff like that, and we mess around and serve the daggone same food at the funeral. So it's but for real, it's strange, but that's the way it is for some reason. And it's like us, that was really bad teaching the whole entire time. And I see what's going on, and the more I try to share with people, they kid to brush off and be like, well, my mother raised me on this. Well, you gotta understand, your mother was taught wrong, your dad was taught wrong, and all this stuff, because they was taught to sit down and listen and don't say nothing. Don't buck back, don't respond, just duration here. We at the age now, we bucking back like, yo, y'all taught us wrong. So, but by us becoming who we are, from our eyes been open growing up, we become like the family members of saying he's weird or whatever. Nah, it's not. The fact is that we are awakening and we learn to understand that y'all taught us something that was incorrectly, and our parents can let it go, and they know what time it is. And it's like, but our kids are pretty much woke. They crazy as hell, but they woke. and cause like they know something, but you got brothers and sisters that like some was my age, some older, they failed it. They failed us because they didn't want to teach nothing, and they knew what time it was. But it's like if they just said even down to Malachi, I read the literature that I read, and not by it's not by choice, by force. 'Cause I did a little time for, so I had to force myself to grow, learning who I am. Even down far, like you said, far as genetics, DNA, I started doing, sending letters, family, find out who was my generation come from, where's my bloodline is at. So my bloodline runs pretty deep, and Asian in my European in my family, in my blood, but it ain't strong enough that niggerish. But it's like it's just strange that we've been taught not to buck back. Parents are scared that we're gonna get killed for bucking back, but the power in it right now that we have, that our parents don't sing out of the sword. I'm talking about the pen right there, because the pen is what's saving us, or can save us. As long as we got people that behind us that can help us out with that pen, and some of my brothers and sisters that's after me, even down to my son, we're able to get through life a little better. Because if we don't tighten, and I want a person. We got Stu. I'm a frontline person. It's so much on my mind, brothers, that face face the system. And sometimes my mom, my parents, a frontline person, and I'm like the only one that's on train to go. So, and news with some brothers that I do know that handle their business, and it's like the more we try to push the family members or their family members, say, "Oh, you don't do it alone, man. They ain't right." But we the ones had actually led by brothers like, "Yo, this is not what's going on. This is what needs to go on." It's what we like to see y'all brothers at. All you got together, and like I said, and stop withholding knowledge, trying to ask for some money all the time. People can, or in the literature, even events, or even having out some people that's willing to get some ask. The young brothers are ready to learn. If they got nothing for them, they're gonna act the fool. And I can't for somebody to sit my tail down. And they want to sit me down with the Most High. So I guess, but no saying some things about what they was taught was incorrect. But you got somebody here with you something that's correct.
All right, we got some new people back in here. True Born Allah, peace, God. True Born Allah, peace.
Peace, brother.
I see you in the room. Peace, brother Ben Sariki, and peace, brother Richard Medley. Brother Richard.
Hello. Can you hear me? Who am I talking with? How we doing, Brother Ned Monk? Yes, I was invited here by Brother Mr. Stewart, and I'm just going to sit here and take in some of this knowledge dropping out.
He's gonna be right back. He's on his business right now. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Brother Manson Williams.
What's going on, brother?
Introduce yourself. How you doing, brother? Peace.
Starter brothers. How y'all doing?
Great. How you doing?
Good, doing good. I'm a little late to the party. I was trying to get my.
Okay, that's cool. We should hear, man.
Of course.
All right. Anybody else got anything to say? To chime in on the subject, Sister Kimberly?
Yes, I have a lot to say. This is like my favorite topic. I'm a licensed therapist, but also, I'm a certified mental health and integrative medicine provider. And if your body is lacking, like that one brother said, like minerals, it affects your mental health, like as well. Like I'll see feelings of depression, anxiety, I can't sleep. And so the first thing, I'll say to them, I'll say, are you drinking enough water? Are you because I'm not going to refer you to the psychiatrist, to get pharmaceutical medicine when it could be you're just lacking, vitamins, minerals, not getting hydrated enough. And some of my patients, they'll come in and say, well, I'm not, taking, like, for example, like B vitamin, no, not food grade. I'm sorry. It's a plant-based. It's a plant-based vitamin. If you're lacking B vitamins, that also affects the nerves, your whole central nervous system. So clients who have like anxiety, I see depression, more than likely they're lacking like vitamins, and like the list goes on and on. And so I would give them a list of things that they need to get. Of course, we'll continue to like tell them get outside, get some sun, try to do a little bit of exercise, teach them like some deep breathing like techniques. And I would see like over better. I didn't have to refer them, to the psychiatrist to get like an antipsychotic or antidepressant. It could be in your cabinet or something that you need to like integrate more like into your system. And I like what the one guy up that. That's why you have things like that. The Irish like sea moss, that stuff is amazing. A lot of times when you catch like viruses, there's something that your DNA goes through, and this is like on a cellular level. It's called transcription. So it goes through a process called transcription, and that prevents what they call cellular suicide or death. Your cells go away, your cells stop like not mutating, but they stop splitting, going through something called mitosis, attaches itself to your DNA. It sticks its like a little probe inside your DNA. And then what your DNA does, it goes into something called reverse. It causes the white blood cells to attack the body. Basically, your immune system attacks itself. So that's why like any type of virus, like they start to break down quickly because too, they have other comorbidities going on as well. So in order to prevent the body from, to make sure, you know, that your immune system is like produce like fish, fruits, and vegetables. So like that in itself is going to help you like boost your immune system, like the diet. But things like to get these different types of herbs, it's called epicherbs.com if that's something that you're interested in. And also too, I heard someone, well, you can follow my page on Instagram. It's called holistic_gold, and you can see like some of the dishes that I cook to help you like boost your immune system.
Hey, that's excellent. That's excellent. Sister Mona, you want to add on?
Absolutely. Thank you for the topic. Just to kind of piggyback on Miss Kimberly, Dr. Sebi, he didn't have everything, but he has quite a bit. And just like I want your Instagram, Miss Kim, again, I have a friend that she lives in Tech Life. Fruits and vegetables for the most part, and herbs, they kind of give us all the trace minerals we need for the most part. I mean, and so just kind of listening to that and talking about what Caucasians eat and what they can't eat. I will say they may eat, but they eat what we ate when we were our healthy, our ancestors. And then they have other people eating these sweetness, blood, they eat our way. Everything, all the food. So, I mean, I don't want to go about real life for a long period of time. I'm editing, so I know it's certain times to check out. So all right, I would say culturally, we talked about soul food. Now, my roots are from here, right? It's a big difference here in the way we eat, and actually it shows too. I mean, I'm talking about is a difference when it shows as far as us, you know. So I don't know. I know there's a young man up here from Philly, and I would go there a lot growing up in Atlantic City. And knowing I was thinking it would be a different conversation about.
I'm good. Great.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't know earlier, but I'm just saying, so we don't get caught up with exercise, you know what I'm saying, to keep yourself strong. Because if you don't keep yourself strong, I'm saying, where this corona thing can get you. So if it's possible, you know what I'm saying, y'all can stay away from the meats, you know what I mean? Because that's not, you know what I mean, you want vegetables, you know what
Right? So, and all this between I don't got no seed in it. I was like, what the hell is this? This is what, and I asked a lot of people, we don't have a seed in it. It can't, it's not natural. It cannot reproduce, right? So grapes, we go get the grape with no seeds in. That's a genetically altered grape. That's not a real grape. But if what you're eating don't have a seed in it, it's been genetically altered. But I think that's the difference. We got to know between, say, okay, this is not natural. If you can't find natural, but how you gonna do that? So that's the whole thing. If it's natural, not every day, because your lungs are not chimneys, you know. But for certain conditions, I think it's good for that. But it's like that's my take on that. So it can work if you can find natural marijuana, but most marijuana we get is not natural, and I think it's impairing a part of the brain for these young.
This is Marquis.
Right, okay.
Oh, my bad. This is Marquis. The marijuana is in the factories. I think some type of chemical warfare is going on inside that part. So for me, being incarcerated, you can tell when the marijuana hit the yard because it's like that going on. Then, you know, when the marijuana hit the camp or the yard, everybody laid back and chilling. So it's like pull things out so the officer can make it home that day. You know what I'm saying? Or that week. So, but I can't send it doing the same thing out here that it like it did there. Like the brother said a while ago about the seeds. none of the stuff got seasoned. It's not natural. So I feel like so chemical warfare is going inside that. They just probably they making their steps. Then when they start saying that the majority of the people, they start doing people smoke this tight right here and all this. I'm like, how the hell you know that? But they start doing a little summits, not summits, but they what do you call it when they do all the numbers, when they know how many people eat this all that stuff. But they can start putting numbers. They gotta start putting stuff, some more in there right there.
Hey, peace, family. Y'all, let me jump in right fast. I'm gonna let Neb keep on. Neb, you can keep controlling this, all right? So I'm gonna just, I want to comment on the marijuana thing though. You know, once you add fire to the marijuana plant, so prior to adding fire to it, I feel like it's probably some good use to it. That's all you can get now is loud. Back in the day, you can get Reggie, you can get Mid, chocolates. You had different names, but right now everything is loud. It's all loud. So that right there in itself lets you know that the government is tampering with it. And I felt the marijuana that they came up with in the government, the loud, they got a patent on it. It's the actual name. If I actually look into, I probably can pull it up right now. But we know that the government is manufacturing this marijuana. Anytime they monetize it and they making money off of it. And then what's really interesting is they like you can get they sell the loud the same prices that's on the street. How do they know the going rate on the street? But they're selling it for the same prices that you can get it on the street. It's the same going rate. Well, that in itself is interesting to me, but don't put no fire to it. But this chemicalized marijuana, no good. But and then you do have a history where people did use alternative mind altering things or drugs. This is recorded, but they were using it for different reasons. They were going out to get messages and views like people use it for today.
So how do anybody want to talk about the marijuana factor or non-factor?
I definitely do. I want to chime in because I agree with who was it? Well, whoever was bringing it to the forefront about is different. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who smokes marijuana and tends to think it's the same. I'm always being an educator. The students I taught, they're 32, 33, 31. And I'm looking, I always follow groups that's a part of who I am. It is a big difference, like he said. Remember my mother smoking marijuana in the 70s and having no seed and running a house, working, having a house spotless, cooking meals, and not saying, and it was illegal there, not saying it was the right thing, but I knew, never outside of her house, I knew she smoked. And watching my males that I see that's intelligent zone out like zombies, not even wanting to get up and go to work, not caring. I don't care I will argue. It's something totally different. It has to be. Now the argument I had with my friend, when I say argument, the debate was he think it's individualized and doing in numbers, like looking at the masses and how it affects them. It definitely has to be something that's different. I tend not to think it's the heat. George, you mentioned heat. Something's not right to me. I just never seen where people don't care about anything, won't work, and just happy, just okay. It's something off. I don't trust it at all.
Hey, sister, I wanted to ask you a question. Did you know anything about the possibility that maybe that could have anything to do with these complications? These virus complications? Yeah. So I was asking about pneumonitis and whether or not that could people are experiencing with this particular virus, the so-called virus.
I've connected it. Honestly, I know several things have happened. It's been happening, and so not in that in particular. I'm looking at a couple things. I'm following 5G that people, especially in these larger cities. I'm following that. I'm following where people are so closely connected, subways and all. You look at New Jersey, New York, where I'm from, as compared. I'm also looking at and watching very closely. I had someone send me a message because I'm in several groups where a nurse disguised herself and had a friend share that this nurse went and says corona. We know number one, it's a money thing. Number two, as for the BPAP, and Kim, you might know, or someone else, when you can ask for oxygen that's less intrusive, that just open up the airway, which really is causing you more restriction. That if this happens to you, you don't have anyone to advocate because the patients are so scared because they're experiencing things they never have and they feel like they're dying, that you can put in writing that you ask for something less invasive, not to put them on a ventilator. You can ask for the DPAP, and I think ask for that. Also, in certain medicines you should ask for as far as the where they're adding vitamin C, and I can't get the term, but I have it. Asking for that to build up their immune. So you put these things in writing, and you can also say to the hospital that these are medicines they took every day at home. That was a home medicine that you they took every day. So it might not be a prescription, so that you force them to do what they're supposed to, and you ask for records immediately, because they're leaving people to die. They're doing intrusive things. They're not giving what they're supposed to. So it's a lot of great family members because they are alone and you can't go in. So I didn't mean to drag this on based on your question. I know I didn't touch your question, but no, I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at a lot of other stuff that's happening simultaneously during this
Anybody else want to chime in on it? Trueborn? Allah? Kimberly? Trueborn? Y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Well, I feel like, just like y'all feel, if it ain't natural, if it ain't edible, it ain't right. And if you was smoking it, the natural weed was better for you. But like you said, we don't have this loud precedent. And they don't act the same like they did 15 years ago. Like when I was smoking it. You know, what they call red jet, lob, you know? So it's been tampered with. And it's been pushed by the rappers.
Right.
Like a mug, you know. Future and all these rappers and everybody, you know, unfortunately. So I just don't even mess with marijuana. I don't mess with it, I don't trust it. You know, unless I'm gonna eat it. It's gotta be not to be getting high as a kite, you know, for recreation.
And another
anything else y'all want to talk about? I mean, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Another thing I read a report susceptible to getting a corona because it does something to the lungs. I can't remember what it was, but they was talking about that about 2 weeks to what what is it that people is smoking that they calling it marijuana still, but we really don't know what's going on. Well, back in the day, you had the older cats said they didn't push back on the rappers when they got a little too, the NWA and all that pushed back because they knew what was going to take the young folks, and ain't nobody saying nothing now. That's a new movement now, and you see, it's no together. I mean, it's crazy how we just messed up right now. Black people, groups of people addressing this stuff, because if nobody don't address, and I mean, we can address it right here in media and those type of things, saying something, and about marijuana, about the images we imparting into our community. There's a problem, and I think nobody's talking, nobody's saying nothing. That's crazy, because do that. What I'm saying? We had that, and I don't think these young people have rules no more. It's just they do what you can think it, you can do it. It's they still pushing the movement of marijuana is good, but like we talking right now, they don't say that. So if they put that out there for these young people, how many people would say, how many of these young people? Because those are the people who's gonna change the future. Like, if we don't give them the tools they need, it ain't gonna happen. I mean, when they tell the kids to put the guns down, well, the thing about it, they don't kill each other. Because young men are for war, older people are for counsel. We have to go back and the young people want to hear from the older people. They want to hear that knowledge. The young people that I know, they want to hear that. And they, I drag her around places with meetings and stuff like that. And people really want, especially young men, because they don't have a lot of mother type, going on. And I just sit back and watch, and it's just a lot of men who have not been properly mothered, and they still need that. And I don't, and especially with all this and walk on water and provide this. And it's like, nobody really gave these young guys anything, but we got, I think the older people, it's our responsibility to teach what we know. And when we scream it from the mountaintop, because we are the only people that's going to fix our people. They ain't going to do it. They're going to say, we're going to legalize marijuana because they know that's what you smoke. They have secret meetings all the time. Black people, one thing about us, we want to go on Facebook Live and have, say we're going to open this black business, and then they'll crush it. What time? And they never say what goes on in those meetings, and they have those meetings about us, and we got to start to be like that. And somebody had said something before about a thing for black people. I don't think it was bad if we knew how to use that. We got to know how to, okay, we open the business. Let's go hire some white folks. Make them the CEO of the business. Let's use their face. Meeting. Let's not go out here and say, it's going to be a black business, because we know what they're going to do. So we got to do what they're doing to us. Like when Target, they'll start a business. they'll go hire black people, you know, in the black communities, you know. And so because I went and hired black folks in a white area and it didn't happen. And they said, we're not coming up in there by nothing, you know, and that business failed. And one time I had hired a white boy for a little money with that white boy. Then I made with all the black folk, you know. I was younger then, but I didn't understand. I'm thinking, hey, I'm just gonna do this. And man, I'm just saying you know, but it's culture to us, and we got to be very careful about how we even move forward. We got to be very strategic how we move forward, because they have already said we're gonna populate it. They already had these meetings, you know, and they're gonna try to kill us with shit that we love. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be head on and try to figure out a way to you know, white system. They don't know. If nobody tell them, they don't know. You know, so I just think we just got to go back to
the key word you said, Sean.
You know,
black business. Anybody else on this page, well, on this live right now, have their own business?
Yeah, I have 2 black-owned businesses. Their online businesses, but their business. I do agree with the brother Sean about using white faces as the fronts for our businesses, and to know that we're not going to support one another. So that does make sense, but from the standpoint of the good thing, I disagree with that, because we know that in the 50s, they had a show to teach the white people how to sell. It was actually being aired on TV, where they was teaching white people how to sell to African Americans. Because, you know, after that Great Depression, they were going through a downward. African Americans, we were flourishing. And, you know, it's just something prideful about the doctor being black, your dentist being black, your school teachers being black, your lawyer being black, and was a black person. So for the children to see that, I feel like that, you know, would make the kids feel as though I can do that. I can be a school teacher, because everybody that they saw in their community, it looked like them. And also, once we integrated, you have to let's look at North Carolina, Wilmington, not Wilmington, they had the buses. And once they, you know, when they was boycotting the Montgomery, with Martin Luther King Jr., when they was boycotting down there in Montgomery, it affected the business here in North Carolina. In North Carolina, they were serving white and black people. They had buses and the cab services. So they were serving white and black people at that time. But after integration, what happens? You know, what they say, the white man's ice is colder. So instead of supporting the black businesses that you had then, they automatically ran to start spending money with the white people. And you know how we are as black people. You tell us we can't afford something like for kids in the suburbs, you know, but what black people know, we're going to buy them Jordans, because we're going to buy what you tell us we can't afford. You know, we're going to get things that we feel like we won't, even if we can afford it or not. It's a good thing, but I do agree that if you got you a business, you need to have a white person as your front, or Arab, because at the end of the day, even though it's sad, but it's the honest truth, we don't want to support one another, and we harder on our own kind when it comes to certain things we'll deal with the Chinese in a Chinese restaurant, as far as them not wearing gloves, cooking their food. But you go to a black-owned restaurant, any little thing that you see wrong, you yelling, and that deals with ourselves. I'm stopping. That's my time. All right, let me be quiet.
All right. I know me and Brother Sean were talking earlier, and Brother Sean has some information from the museums. Is that right, Brother Sean? Some Egyptian information?
Yeah, but I don't want to bring it up right now. I want to hit some more about the I want to hit some more about what y'all talking about, you know, with this Corona stuff, because I think that's a problem, man, because I mean, we can talk about
we got to
it,
talk about that show then. We keep on talking about what we're talking about. Brother Nabat,
Okay.
my new Wapian brothers.
Yeah, Robert.
You have anything to say about black and the ideas? Dr. York was definitely a monster when it came to business, you know?
Well, I think that well, the master teacher always told us that our philosophy should be, we should buy from within that. I think that the ideas that were presented as far as including other races as employees of our businesses, of our corporations, to market in today's world, I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, that's my take on that. You know, it's a lot of different dynamics with different. Yeah, it's a lot of different dynamics with different businesses. but be more professional and be more integrative into today's business world so that we can make economics work for us. And in order for us and our business ideas into even more of an industrial level, I think that's something that we got to concentrate more on as well. Like I know, the businesses that we have are great ideas, but I think that we should start thinking more of on an industrial level. Like for example, toilet paper. You see what I'm saying? All of the essential people need. We should start creating those type of things to provide for our own people, so that we wouldn't need to depend on others, as well as being able to, like I said, establish industrial types of businesses. You know what I'm saying? Because it's certain industrial products that automatically come to mind. We were automatically associated with a certain race. Like, for example, those bags that say think of a race to associate that product with, and the amount of money that was made from those bags. Most people were, but the amount of money was made from that to the point where it was industrialized all across the world. You find those bags. You see what I'm saying? That's just one example I advance to begin to advance our race as a whole. Yeah.
That's peace. Brother Raye, you want to chime in on that?
In terms of like the business aspect of it, honestly,
Yes,
I think that I think creativity is really creative as far as in creating your own product, building a brand around it, and then marketing it to, you have to have a target audience when it comes down to marketing. And so one thing teachers always told us is that, like you were saying, we buy from each other, sell to all others. So we live in a different climate right now in terms of business, because business can be dozens or even millions of more people and at a faster rate. So I don't think that the problem is that the fact that our people won't buy from each other, with each other. Like we have to set the standard of, okay, so this is what what the brand or what our business represents, and not to really allow ourselves to to degrade the type of product. And I think that's what happens mostly in businesses, where somebody may have a good product and it's good for the whole community, like just for their, like within a 5-block radius. But then let's say if the business really starts booming and it's or very attractive because it's on a global scale, then the quality of it starts to get cheapened. It's the same thing. Like you remember when this is a real simple example.
Right.
You remember how people was going online talking about it? This guy was making a song, he's singing, saying, "Man, this is the best pie in the world," right? That's marketing. Everybody's going crazy about my pies because I don't even have the original ingredients. Once it hit the market and everything, she said that they cheapened the product. So this people went to Walmart and started buying it all up. And it wasn't because Patti LaBelle was white. It was because of her celebrity and the quality of what she was selling. The quality of the food. So I think that if we can learn, the biggest problem that we have is that whether somebody's up and coming or they're already being successful, we'll go towards the thing that's hot. We'll go towards the thing that is like the feet. And I think that's that model of just buying from each other. You start a business, I should be able to go and support your product. And if everybody starts that trend, then it doesn't become a selfish game of crabs in the barrel mentality. Important, just that we have to. A business is nothing but a relationship when you really look at it. That's all it is. The moment.
I think that's true.
Sister Mona. Hold up, brother. Sister Mona.
Absolutely. It's interesting because I had been having a conversation about the topics we're talking about. I've been fussing about them. So my thought process is going to be a little different. Integration. I'm gonna just tell you my thoughts as someone to get on my feed, and I was talking about I don't trust anything in this country. Nothing's what it seems. So I talked about chemtrails, watching out for 5G, watching this country. And so a Black young man, I respect him. I have so much respect for him. He was kind of, bringing I don't have anxiety, but Mona, they're just probably practicing. His father is an incredible business owner. He's almost 100. The thought behind that, very intelligent people, but I disagree with them in the perspective of integration and education. So I'm gonna go back to what I look at when I look at that. Civil rights. So we need this. We need the same resources our white counterparts have. We need the same books. We need everything. The moment we integrate in education, we really lost ourselves. We are the natural creators. Our Black males were incredible in math. We can take it back to the pyramids, and I can use that one example of them trying to still figure out how we did it. And the moment they integrated, they took and snatched these one-room schools out. People that really care about you from our own community that was able to communicate with your parents to where you were, made you work hard, made you focus, that had the heart for you and put you in front of a white teacher that you thought was going to educate you and respect your creativity. So Black people lost their jobs. Teachers is equivalent to way beyond a bachelor's now, because really a bachelor's is like maybe a middle school education now. That's how watered down it is. They educate their children. They make you learn their history, and then in their churches and different things, they actually teach them finance, politics, all that. And what did we do? Nobody taught us that at that level as far as the masses at home. You got in front of a white teacher who didn't teach you history, who's not always what you say to. Like I tell people, it's not what you say to some white, and I'm working hard, I'm doing well. I may not say, Mona, you're not intelligent, you're not doing a good job. I may just pass you and say, Johnny, oh, you're so smart, but make sure I don't say nothing to me. So you're messing with self-esteem. But I'm just saying, integration as far as education was the worst thing my people could have involved themselves in. Although masters, even some of the top, we thought that was, we're going to fight for this. We fought for them. What they did is took everything from us. After that, we haven't been at the top of our game. We've already set back time proving what I'm saying, that I know it's fact. That's when a lot went down the drain, because again, they didn't care about you. And so when you had a black teacher versus a white, you got to teach white and black. Most of those jobs went to a white teacher that wasn't going to go through the lengths that we did in our communities at that time. So it started multiple places. I heard, I think it was Brother Sean that talked about, why aren't we saying anything about how women are being exploited, this music? That's a part of the programming. We know that whoever has control over the literature controls the mind. But this country comes at us, it first started out with programming, with media, music. The reason why Lil Wayne and them said, why they don't stand up, they can't. As soon as you do it, it's such a pyramid. They will not push you anymore. You're not going to have that money. So whatever they want you to put in the ears of our young people, that's what's happening. And is what to stay on top in you. And the people that's doing it, we don't know who they are at the top. They don't show their faces about money. So it's big. It's so much bigger than what we see. We used to say, that's never going to happen. They in you. If you don't have these homosexual activities and different things at that level, this is true stuff. Then it's certain things they won't let you get to a certain level. So we're the only one to exploit our women. It's no, white race, you don't see them in the videos and that type of thing. If they come and have a video, they say, oh, that's not what we're looking for. That's why people aren't talking, because they know they don't do those things. What they do is they don't allow them to be in that spotlight, make money. It's strategic, like everything was when they brought our ancestors over. So I'm going to stop there, because like I said, we can go on, and I just don't believe. I'm trying to work on it myself of talking. But yeah, I'm not talking about from the business aspect, but integration, education. We fought for something for them to make sure that we never would return creativity. And that's all I have to say.
Brother Trueborn, tell us how you feel. Well, you're right, Sister Mona, and you know about your education stuff. We talked, back in the IHOP and everything. You're definitely right. We're not playing on it's not equal playing field.
Right.
And I saw a quote on Facebook the other day. I almost shared it, but I didn't. I should have shared it. It was asking the children, asking people, when the first black male teacher, what grade were you in? And that's sad, you know what I mean? You gotta ask that question. And some people gotta think about it. I was damn near high school until I first saw So
we led in math and science and everything. We led it. Now, ask those same young boys who talking about marijuana now, and I'm talking about the masses, and come up, create. We got to see a problem, be able to fix it and sell it. When we say, like he said, industrial, see something, we figure out how to do it better. Integration ended that for the masses. We led math and science. That's who we are. That's why the Greeks came back. Right. I mean, look at it now.
Right. Brother Massa, back in the building. Peace.
I don't know if his mic on hooked up, but let me add something to what y'all saying. There you go. Ricky, go ahead, bro.
What's going on, bro?
And we talking about integration. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
The worst thing that's happened to us as black folks. Now, a lot of people sometimes just say that if people look at you funny, versus what we supposedly gained, then you'll see that we've been on the losing end of integration. We try to form boycotts and stuff, and we try to do stuff as a people. That's one of the reasons why those types of things lost our sense of independence. That's what integration took away from us, our sense of independence. And so now some of us are using power structure for everything, whether it's food, whether it's entertainment, whatever. They just, schools outside of white supremacy. If in particular a black person try to come in, that's why so much negativity is going around. It used to not be like that. We did. Our sisters, we used to have our own stores, our own schools, our own hospitals, our own everything. And I think Brother Malcolm said we were so busy worrying about getting the seat that we didn't think about owning the restaurant. Integration done that, to my opinion, and I don't see it as a good thing. I know it's like to be portrayed as a good thing. In reality, if you look at it from an African center point of view, it wasn't a good thing for us. It's one of the worst things that happened to us.
Can I say this right quick? Because I got to go in a minute. I seen started a school out of a trailer, a little trailer, started a charter school with no money, started a school, and that school ended up being one of the biggest schools here in Minnesota. And when we're talking about integration, you know, we know that they use things against us, you know, because they deal with us very wise. So don't give you that, but this is what it's going to cost you. But they don't tell you what it's going to cost you. So yeah, we do know that. But it's like, once we got to a point, we went to sleep, you know, and we have to start taking some of that responsibility for ourselves, because, you know, I'm from Mississippi, you know, where there's still black farmers living, made good money, you know, and all kinds of stuff like that. And it's just like, I look at it like this. Why did we stop? Why did we stop teaching? We should never stop teaching. That was what we messed up at. We should never stop, because even though we got to be, I look at it like this: a black person could not have a business downtown. That was law. We couldn't go, like the neighborhood I'm in there right now, we couldn't be this neighborhood. We couldn't even be walking the streets. That was law, you know, in this neighborhood. And it's a lot of things like that, you know, a lot of our black folks, you know, we need to still appreciate what they paid, that price that they paid, because, you know, black people, we was real restricted in our own communities. We did have some things, but we still was restricted, you know. And far as education wise, I think we should have. I don't understand why we didn't, but we fell asleep after this, you know, the civil rights movement and all that. We went to sleep. We said, oh, it's over. All the leaders are gone. We went to sleep. So we got to pick that back up. And I teaching, you know, and is no reason why we didn't. You know, we allowed these white folks to come in to do this to our communities. You know, we allowed it because we were so busy saying, hey, you know, let's do this over here. They giving out this, let's get that. Like one brother was saying, you know, getting certain things from white folks make you lazy, you know. And I think the whole thing about integration and all of that was we gotta really go back and see what it was, because I hear what Mona, I hear what you're saying, and that's true, how they flipped it. But what we was as a people, we was really being crushed, you know. And I just appreciate those people that paid that price, because it didn't come easy. You know, people was lynched, killed, shot, you know, and all kinds of stuff. And we couldn't even walk down the street. We couldn't do business. We couldn't do a lot of things. We could do it in our little communities, but you got to keep in mind, black people communities back then, okay, I'm going to go open this place up, this restaurant over here, and do this and do that. They will bomb your place. They'll burn your place up. And wasn't nothing you can say. And the police was going to do that. So all I'm saying is that it's true about the education system, but we should never, we still sleep, because, you know, we should have our own. When I seen these people start a charter school out of a trailer, it inspired me. It made me think there's nothing that you can't do, you know, and there's no excuses why we allowed our people to being stupid, like, you know, how we allowed our young folks to be this stupid, you know, and they can't read and write. And it's just terrible. And we allowed that, though. We allowed these white folks to come into our communities in a lot of places that we should have been really pushing at that level, push forward to have our own. We didn't do that. And we could have done that, but we got lazy. And so a lot of that responsibility falls on us. So we got to just pick it back up and keep moving forward, because if we don't get our own, like right now, it's not really any teachers starting schools and things like that on their own like that. We need that, because those are the people going to be able to understand what our kids need. But if we keep, you know, trying to beat a dead horse, we ain't going to get nowhere with that, because these white people do not care. And we should have knew that back in the 60s, you know, and we should have knew that. But somewhere, I guess they had killed all the leaders, or I don't know what happened there, but we fell asleep, you know, and they got us into their schools and they taught us their way, you know. But the fact is, we should have been doing that, because a lot of people could have been teaching their own children. A lot of people should say, why would I allow my kids to be taught by my oppressor? You know, but they would sleep. Something happened. I don't know what happened, but it's just like, we got to take some responsibility, because we allowed that captivity. Now we allowed that.
I ain't trying to cut you. I ain't trying to cut you loose, man. Stuart, that's your hand, man. You got a hand raised up. Stuart.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay,
I
you
got
want to say
my hand raised. No, I just wanted to For one, I think for one integration, see, we looked at it the wrong way. We benefited them integrating. And we looked, it was them that was winning with the integration. It wasn't us. And the way it was a perfect storm, the way that integration came after they was going through that Great Depression, it was a perfect storm what happened. But at the end of the day, it was them that benefited it, but it wasn't us that was getting to come up. It was actually them because they needed us. We really didn't need them because in our actuality, we was good. We was good with the way we was going and we were growing. I wanted to tell Nabat though that Freedom Paper, Nabat, I don't know if you hear, but Freedom Paper is a black-owned toileting company that make toilet. They make paper towels. They make hand sanitizer, any type of cleaning supplies. It's based out of Washington D.C. It's called Foldem. All the stuff that you was talking about making. That's
about the Muslim guy, right? Muslim man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what his religion is.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah. And Denton. I hope I'm pronouncing the brother's name right. Social media. The thing that social media does do for businesses is it removes who the owner is. Because when you go to Amazon or when you go to a website and order something, you don't know who the owner is. It's just a matter of where you go. If they have and usually you'll get it and get it sent to us. So that do remove the race factor away from, especially when you shopping online. And I think when I was speaking earlier, I think I mostly was talking about traditionally, but online that happens that you really don't know who you buying it from, and you really don't matter. It's just a matter if they got what you want. So that's all I wanted to say. But integration, man, we have to own it. We have to own up to it, but you got to understand the thought process of these people. You get what I'm saying? They looked at white people like God. Look at all of it. I mean, from the 60s, early 50s, look at what was going on in the world. And so, and then with the integration, they used to have black schools and white schools. And, the black schools had the hand-me-down books once they integrated. So they were sending the kids from the black schools got closed down. They won't send the white kids in the hood. That won't no type of integration. They won't send the white people to where black people were going. It was the black kids going to the white schools. And see, that was a little different. But we really I love the elder, but we really need to talk about Martin Luther King Jr. and if Martin Luther King Jr. was being used by and I can't believe I'm about to say it, but I just started, so I'm gonna get it out. We need to actually just use and promote it by the government initially before he woke up and realized that they was using it. That's the biggest.
I believe it was.
Well, really, we already know the answer to that. What about Al Sharpton and Jesse? It's always somebody. As soon as Al Sharpton come on the scene, I don't care if it's Trayvon or whatever, people be like, oh, all of a sudden he's gonna be like, we're not gonna stand for this. We're not gonna stand. As soon as he come on the scene, it's gonna be a compromise. It's gonna be like, just like with Trayvon, the parents will come, don't nobody get upset. As soon as he come on the scene. So, I'm gonna talk, but we already know. Each one, I see him always being used.
Oh yeah, definitely being used, bro. They were being used, man. Until he talked to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that's me turning around a little bit, man. Start talking a little more bass in his voice. Brother Stewart. But you can say what you want to say about Martin Luther King. Some people call him punk, this and that, whatever. But that brother died. He died in the fight. A lot of us, man, we scared to talk about it on the internet, on Facebook. You know what I mean? This brother died. And he knew he was going to die. Just like Brother Malcolm, Even though they had two different ways of doing things, but they both died, in the struggle. But Martin Luther King, I believe he used his heart more than his mind in the beginning. His first, 8, 9, 10 years? It's around 66. We met with the Honorable Muhammad Elijah Muhammad. So talking about the war, talking about the money, the Vietnam, all the way back in the early 60s. They turned it back on him. Them so-called preachers, his friends, turned it back on him. Because he won't go with on the script no more. Like you said, the Roland Martin, the Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons. You're right, Mona. Any thoughts? Anybody want to add on?
I'm just agreeing with what y'all saying. I think he was used, especially later on when he started picking up steam and people started saying, hey, I think they start to deter, trying to really just keep it to where he had started. And he started saying, wait a minute, we got to go get this money. When we go the second time, we come to get our check. So he was on something else. They didn't want that. And that's when JFK and all of them said, look, we got to take this brother out because they don't fear people just talking. They fear the people who have power to move the people. That's why a lot of these other black activists ain't nothing ever happened to them, because they can't lead people. Some people have Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, those kind of people. They were leaders, and they was a threat to white supremacy. You get what I'm saying? And so he's what, 41 or something like that. But when you start to get somebody like that who's saying, now I feel like I led my people into a burning building. You know, he started to, you know, he growed up. He's started to see things like, you know, even the people around him, that he started to say, let us go and get serious now. You know, and I think, you know, they said, we can't let this happen. I think they said, didn't they say Jesse Jackson was an FBI informant or something like that? I think a lot of people around him was stationed around him, you know, but because, you know, when you have that kind of drawing power, and even down to certain celebrities like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Prince, those kind of people, all these people die young, because once these people hit like 40, I don't know, like once you get up in like 40 something, you start, and you have that kind of drawing power. If you ever this and you start to actually speak out against that, and you got a sea of people that's going to listen to you against them, they got to take you out. And it's a dangerous game. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that he was used, but I think, you know, at the end, when he made his last statements or last speeches, he knew that they was coming after him. He knew it. You know, he knew what he was trying to do for us as a people, what we needed. And he was willing to die for that. So like I say, you know, we didn't go through that, but they did, you know, so we do have a lot of you know, really respect to pay. But it's like I said, I just think like they used him, but when he woke up, they said we gotta get him.
Right. We knew when he woke up. We know about the reparations he was talking about. But I'm just saying, before that, he was being a little soft. You know what I mean? But that's not okay. But he was being used by being able to do this and do that. But he didn't woke the hell up and say, hey man, like I said, I put my people to a burning house and the truth from some certain people. And he wasn't the same man. This man in 66 and 68 was not that man in 59 and 67. I mean, he was being used. And then he woke up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was being used beforehand, right?
Right. But I think, you know, I don't think he was soft. I think, you know, because you got to keep in mind, that's a young man. You know, he's just a young guy trying to, as he progressed, you know, and, you know, he learned just like we all do. He was just a man. You know, he wasn't all that. He was just a young dude fighting for what he felt was right. And I think people do try to use you, but the thing is, they can't erase, you know, like what he, you know, people try to use people for whatever reason it is. But, you know, I think the fact is that we as a people have to look back and say, hey, you know, Malcolm X had white folks scared. One black man. So if one black man can make the nation way to shut this Negro up, you know, that's something right there. This is one guy.
True.
You know,
all I'm saying is, bro, Sean, true. You're right. Six. They won't scare him, man.
You better go get those Time magazines and see what they was doing to them Negroes out there at the marches and them speeches that he was having. He realized that these white folks wasn't pretty. They didn't want you to organize no kind of way. They was beating black people, killing them. Let's say this now, but because we ain't lived through it. But people talk to the people that lived through that and see what they tell you. Faced with, you get what I'm saying? We wasn't faced with that. It wasn't a law that they can come into your house, blow your head off, get, you know. But they got it every day. So for somebody to just get up and see this, they was living in a different time we was living in.
What was more powerful to you? 1959 Martin Luther King to 1966 Martin Luther King, or 1966, man? 2 years later, they killed him. They couldn't take that, man. He talking about reparations, talking about the war. He meeting up with people. He was turning to a pen.
That's true.
Damn near.
But what up?
Oh, I had a dream, though. White girl born a threat. He won't really a threat, man. Because at the end of the day, he liked white girls anyway. He liked white women at the end of the day. President anyway before Coretta. You know about that, right? But go research that. Go research that.
Niggas do that today. Like they go out here and get white women all day. That's not
Roland Mars,
beginning. This is a normal guy.
I love King, man. No disrespect, man. I'm just saying, looking at time, I'm smart his whole life. But he really became militant in 66, man. We came so-called extreme to white people.
So you saying nothing that he did before that, before the people didn't fear this black man bringing these black people together. You
to me, okay, the best thing he did before 66 was the boycott. He showed you the power of the dollar. But
check it out, though. That's what we can say. But look at the evidence. Go back and look at the tapes. These people did not want black people to organize and open in a business. They was going to take you out if they had to. They didn't want that. See, these people, we can say that now, what I'm saying, but back at that time, it was a different time. So they was on him. Like he was getting death threats from the beginning. Like most black people would do when they tried to do something. Like it was at a different time. So it wasn't just for us. We can look at it like people that was strong personalities like that was trying to bring black people together at that particular time. it was, they feared today, and get a group of black people and you get them coming together and you see how much they're going to fear you. It can be 20 black people together. They're going to dismantle that 20 people because.
All right, I got a question. The NWCP. You think all these kids, the NWCP?
What you said again?
Negroes, brothers, whatever you want,
Well, you got to
coming together. You think they're scared of that?
Not now, they're not, because they ain't got no leaders. All the leaders is gone, dead. So you get what I'm saying? No, I'm talking about NAACP is owned by pretty much a white man. So we talk, you can't, it's not two things. I'm just saying, we're not restricted. We can say what we want to say. But the NAACP don't say, when these black boys get shot down, the NAACP don't say nothing. You remember that white woman that was acting like she was black? Yeah. She was a head lady in the NAACP. You remember that? This is what's going on. What I'm saying is, that's on. They've been dismantled the NAACP. That's been gone. That's been over. The organization is still there, but it's so watered down, it ain't for no good. It's nothing.
Well, we know that they attacked us. They attacked the Wapians. Yeah. When Dr. York was out here doing big things. They, man, put all kind of lives in that, brother, man. They attacked the nation gods of earth. They killed Father Allah. Or y'all call them Plant 13X.
That's what I'm saying. They fear.
Go ahead.
No. That's what I'm saying. They fear any real black man that start talking about bringing black people together. Now, you're talking about no NAACP and that type of watered down Negroes. I'm talking about a real black man, black woman that's bringing people together. They fear that. They have meetings. That ain't never changed. These white people killing these Negroes out here at Facebook Live and stuff. It's been going on, because they've said we got to deal with these. 2035, white people gonna be the minority. They're the majority. They're not telling you that. That's why they're not telling you they're dying off faster than they're reproducing. Right. See, that's why they have said, let us do this corona stuff. Let's attack these black people because.
Well, check this out, man. This ain't our show. What about, hey, let's get some thoughts.
Gotta put me back to sleep.
Oh, man. Stuart. Wow.
I'm here. I'm here.
Wake up, brother. This ain't our show. I respect King, man. At the end of the day, he died.
I mean, he was a good brother, man. Leave it at that, another brother, though. Because at the end of the day, he still shot. He died for us. You know what I'm saying? How many people have given their life for us? So we and righteous. And then, we still love the brother, though. We love the elder. He taught us a lot.
Master you.
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. I heard.
Well, Master you up here. What's up? How you feel about it, brother? Speak on it. Whatever on your mind. Oh yeah, man. We ain't here. We ain't fighting. We just we ain't fighting. We just sharpening the iron.
Yeah. No doubt. And handled in the beginning. I don't think it was no fault of his own. Matter of fact, I read and I was one came maneuver by I hate to say the old anti-Semitic, it was mostly white Jews, who pretty much people in Dr. Martin Luther King now. I even seen some of what is on the I'm just at his house. I'm not really one of the king's closest advisors. But what people didn't know back then, Bayreuth was more than anything.
Wow.
His vision of non-violence. Because before Sam Guns, they had a movie where Bayreuth, a character playing Bayreuth. Y'all hear me?
Oh yeah, you were chopping up a little bit, breaking up a little bit.
Oh, can y'all hear me now? My phone.
But I heard most of you though. I heard a lot about him being a lot of rumors.
Yeah,
about getting engaged too.
A lot, Bayreuth, and he was a close advisor to him, and he would put a lot of stuff into his ear.
I knew. I would listen to Irritated Genie.
Like y'all saying, he could be respected because, like Brother Stu said, came too many of us said.
Yeah, you breaking a little bit.
Yeah, but I heard the figure back off his brother. I heard about King wanting to marry a white woman. I listened to him on his DVDs and stuff, or lectures. But I heard a lot of things about the brother, but he still died. I give his credit. He's top 10 in America. As far as a black American, That's just my opinion about it. Anybody else want to chime in? Brother Stewart, you still with us?
Oh yeah, I'm here, bro. I'm here. Hold on. I don't know. I'm here. No, you need to get right there. Close it out though, soon. But no, man. I actually read some stuff. I was gonna do something about Martin Luther King Jr. and a couple years back, me and my homeboy Melvin, we built on the kind of stuff on it, but I'm not gonna speak on it. I kind of feel like that's why Mansa his stuff was choppy because maybe they meant to come out, man, you know, or maybe they meant to come out on this show. How about that? You know, if you want to do your due diligence and you want to read up on it, hey, read up on it. But you know, we do know that the brother said that he felt like burning Bush, and he said the next time we go to Washington, we're going for our check.
Right.
He realized, so he knew, you know what I'm saying? So it might not be how he got in the game, you know, but if you know the history of you know, his father and the order and all that they was under, you know, that's a different conversation. He a legend. He a legend at the end of the day. But it was a lot of black people during that time that did not want to integrate. You get what I'm saying? Now that's something it was a lot of black people that was not feeling the integration. And they also won't feeling all these other races of people never got what we supposed to have got. You know, and that's something that helps with the integration is that all these other minorities, you know, keyword minority, they changed the literature and put this word in there. And now you have it for something that we fought and died for, our ancestors, you know, fought for. And, you know, we never got our 40 acres in America. But now you got all these other people coming over here getting the rights and stuff, you know. But, that's here and there, but that's history, though. And like Dr. John Henry Clark said, we got to learn from history. You know, we have to learn from history. You know, and Kemet, they always on the walls and say, know who you are, know who you were, know where you came from, know where you've been. You know your history. You get what I'm saying? Because you need to know so you don't make the same mistakes that was made before. And that's the good thing about us being African people. You know, we can always adapt, we can always grow, and we can always change also. You get what I'm saying? And we can and that's also a part of nature. Nature always changes also too. And you know, that's just that. That's life, you know, adaptation. And you know, learning from your mistakes and moving forward to better yourself. You know, so you know, I want to thank everybody for coming. Nev, you've done a great job, bro. You done a better job than me.
I don't say all that, man. I don't say all that. I can't miss you, brother.
Listen, to me, you done a real good job. I'm being real. I'm being real, man. To me, you done a real good job being a host. And sometimes it's, you know, because we all learn. You know, don't nobody know that we all out here trying to learn and build, man. Everybody got their own.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, yes, sir.
So I want to give everybody. I don't know if Nabat, did you want to get into talk about the Bantu, or say that because Nev said you wanted to talk about it, but I don't know. We may can say that for another day. Really,
and actually, not just the Bantu and the language, right?
Yeah.
Brother from Minnesota got some. He won't give him a couple of days so he gets research, but he already got some facts to say about Israelites. So maybe he's giving a couple of days. I mean, for that to happen.
What about the Cairo Museum?
Sean.
You said what now?
Sean.
Hello? No, what? I was talking earlier about they have stelas, Egyptian stela, Israel on the stela. Have you heard about that?
That mentions, say it again.
That mentions the name Israel on the stela. Have you heard about that?
No.
Okay, and another thing I'm gonna put out there. I'm researching this, so I hope y'all might can answer the question. You know who that is, right?
Yes, sir.
What caused him to be king or pharaoh at what? Because his father was Akhenaten, right? What happened to?
You said King Tut father was Akhenaten.
Yeah.
You want to answer that question?
That wasn't.
I didn't hear what. Say it again.
Go ahead, Ray. That's his question.
What was the question again? I just need to hear it one more time.
What is Sean?
I had a couple of questions, but the one was, what caused King Tut to be king or pharaoh at 14, or I think it was 14? What what happened to his parents?
Well, in terms of King Tut, I've read that, you know, he was considered to be in Egypt. You had another reincarnation of Amun-Re or Amun-Ra, and when you deal with like an heir to the throne, they always usually went by the males. And however, they didn't understand that it wasn't King Tut. I mean, or it wasn't at first Tut. It was actually Nabab Khafreye at first. And the Egyptians or the Tamarans, they believed that there's a way to access, higher worlds. And by doing that, you needed to perform it. It's the reason why they built the pyramids for certain reasons. And so King Tut's father was Akhenaten, and his mother was actually, looked this up, and it wasn't so it wasn't Nefertiti. But Tut was considered to be, you know, what they call a golden child, a boy pharaoh. It was really because he was educated in a certain school, and he had a certain amount of intelligence. That was it was a threat to what they call the Israelites that were coming into ancient Egypt through the Hyksos dynasty. A man named I II, or this other person named I II. You can look this up. And so what he did was he plotted to kill him, and he was successful. And when they went out to battle and when they went out to fight, he actually fell off and he injured his leg. But he injured his leg away from the city. So me just going off the top of my head, but I would have to go and pull up some more things on it because there's a whole science to it. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's a whole science to it.
I'm confused with King Tut being Akhenaten's son. What dynasty?
That was the 18th.
18th, yeah, right.
Yeah, the 8th.
Won't Akhenaten in charge of the 12th and 13th dynasty, right? Around 12th.
No, Akhenaten was still around the 18th dynasty.
Maybe I'm getting some names messed up.
Yeah, they went through a succession. So you had Amenhotep, because Akhenaten, he was born with Amenhotep IV. So they had what they call the priesthood of Amun, or the priesthood of Amun-Ra, or Amun-Re. So they went through a lineage. So you had like Thutmose the First, Thutmose the Second, Amenhotep II, Amenhotep the Third. So Amenhotep III was Akhenaten's father, and he was Amenhotep IV. So all of them were under the priesthood of Amun. However, they had a ritual, and the ritual opening of the mouth ceremony is when the deceased mummy, when it went to the parts or when it went to the ritual of mummification, they would open up the mummy's mouth, and the soul would ascend and go up to 60 days, because the Orion star system would be a system that would come about during that time period. So because they were abusing the ritual, the priests of Amun-Ra at the time, because they were abusing that ritual, they wanted to change that system. And instead of worshiping all the deities or all the Neteru, right, as well as being under Amun-Re, he said, you know what, I'm going to consolidate it into one being, one deity, which was Atun. It was really a woman. But when you look at it, it's just represented as a sun disk with wings. But Atun-Re is a feminine deity. So, you know, he set up what they call Tel El Amarna. They considered him to be a revolutionary because no one did that before in ancient, you know, Kemet or Tamaray. So he changed King Tut's name from Tutankhamun to Tutankhat, or as the Hyksos dynasty there, they took on to that. They understood that, okay, this was a form of monotheism. And then they changed the name from Atun to Adon. And then Adon, the Hebrews changed it to Adonai. And so throughout the dynasties, once they got kicked out by one of the pharaohs called Ahmos and Kahmos, after their 400-year span in 400, they brought all that back with them towards the Mesopotamian lands. And after that, they just pretty much just made everything about ancient Egypt, morphed his name from Tehuti, which was short for Tut, to Thoth. And then they used that name and they made it, and they call it the Hermetic school. So he became Hermes after that. So all of this is just them stealing our culture and then transferring over to, you know, a Europe.
Beautiful.
And that's what trickled down to what you call your Greek fraternities. Your Greek fraternities and all those Greek fraternities and sororities were originally Egyptian brotherhoods and sisterhoods. But if you wanted to install that knowledge.
One more question I had, because I got to go. Body or mummy, right? So, which is strange because they pretty much found.
It's a lot of.
But I'm just saying that in certain order they have found the mummies. What do you think happened to the mummies or the bodies of Akhenaten and Nefertiti?
Well, it was a lot of Nefertiti.
Well, I'm speaking of the one that they saying that he had a woman named Nefertiti, and that particular, I think it's strange because they pretty much found all of them in that dynasty, and but that, which, you know, what you think? How would I say? What would you think happened to him that they couldn't find his mom or his body?
I'll be quiet.
Hey, can I be here? Hey, so from my knowledge, they have discovered the tomb of Akhenaten. You can actually look it up. It was discovered.
There was no body in there.
Well, no. I'm talking about an actual skeleton that they have
I've never heard
recovered. Tomb called KD 55. In that tomb, they discovered the skeleton of a royal pharaoh that he was buried and also when he had his arms placed. Most pharaohs had their arms crossed. Royal descendancy were buried in a certain manner. So in this particular tomb that was discovered in 1907, KB55 is where the actual mummy. It wasn't empty. I'm not sure exactly what but this isn't what I'm referring to. They actually did discover a mummy inside of this particular tomb. And it was cartouche, so-called cartouche. We call it a shanan, which includes his name. And that tomb 55.
So what are you trying to say? Akhenaten was
No,
Absolutely
no,
not.
no. I don't think that.
I'm asking Smith. Is this what you're saying? Hello?
Hello?
Or maybe not.
Hello?
Brother, was he saying Akhenaten was Moses? And you know, he the pharaoh that he led it.
That would be Akhenaten.
I
don't think so. I've never heard them. I've never heard them finding Akhenaten's body or Nefertiti's body, which I think is everyone, in that, around that time. So it's just very strange that these two people was not found.
So where you going with
and
it?
I just think that's strange.
I mean, where you headed?
I don't know, right? And trying to figure out something, because it's strange to me that in that particular time, because I'm trying to figure out, King Tut and Akhenaten ruled in the 18th dynasty. I think King Tut was the 12th. Mm-hmm. Something had to happen to his father because they wasn't ruling at the same time. So I just think.
Okay. So what do you?
I don't know right now. I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking. What? I'm not going to push too much right now. And two, that's why I'm asking what y'all think about. Strange that in this dynasty, this Akhenaten was a bigger pharaoh than King Tut. And he should be found, but it's just strange to me that these people. No, that if they found, I don't believe they ain't found that. Now
It happened back in news in 2020. It happened almost 100 years ago.
I do a lot of research now. I ain't seen that.
Thing that a lot of people don't know. They don't know that the tomb of Osiris.
Yeah, we know. We know that,
you know that.
But I'm just saying this King Tut thing. But this is the thing. If you have
they found the tomb of King Tut.
Can you? Yeah, we know that. But what I'm saying, if you any kind of link or something on that, because I looked for it and I couldn't find anything.
Oh yeah.
I have a question I wanted to ask on Dented the rule of Akhenaten. Is that when Kemet switched from the priesthood running Egypt and now the military started running Egypt?
Yeah. So there was a I got a whole build on it, but it's basically like, okay, so Akhenaten, he was basically the reason. I'll say this: he was the reason of the fall of Egypt. So Akhenaten died, and after King Tut died, you had Ai II. He tried to get on the throne. He tried to actually marry King Tut's wife, who was Ankh-Senamun, and they stole this. You ever seen that movie called The Mummy? And you remember that? And so in the movie, you'll see how he's trying to resurrect his dead wife from another lifetime, and her name. The thing is that after that, Ai II, he was actually dethroned by a man named Horemheb. And that's where the military started to cover. The dynamic of the change of Egypt switched. So from the 18th dynasty, that was pretty much our last, that's when we were at our strongest point in terms of before the decline. And so after that, you had different invaders that came into Egypt, or Kemet, Sidonians, the Persians, the Arabs, and then finally, you had the Arabs with Islam that came into Egypt as the final one. But all of this concept, once he started putting all the deities as one and put it under Atun, that concept.
But then Akhenaten do that because there wasn't no order no more. They were serving multiple deities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what portion of Egypt? The first thing you have to understand is the dynastic periods of Egypt was not our original way of life. Aryan influence came into Kemet.
Because he said when Narmer unified, he said that Narmer wasn't. Narmer was like. What I understand is that the Europeans called it the first dynasty, of the old kingdom that had just moved up, but outsiders, from what I.
Yeah, I mean, he was still Cush. Okay, so they set it up where you had 46 nomes, right, of Upper and Lower Egypt, right? You know that in terms of they have 23 nomes and 23 as far as Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, but 46 chromosomes in your body, and each nome in each district, they worshipped a different type of deity or Nathar or Neter. So but in Memphis, they're worshiping a different type of deity. And so that was okay as far as worshiping different deities according to the different districts. What messed it up was him being in that type of, sitting in that type of seat and position. When he saw the corruption, like you said, it was chaos. And the chaos was the corruption. That to try to reform that, that's when they pretty much saw him as what they call a heretic. And then he set up his own city, which was Tel El-Amarna. And, you know, he set it up with and all of that. But they set out to kill him.
So this is the only question I want to know. Is the Leviticus priesthood an offshoot of that? Okay, all right.
No, the Levitical priesthood is something completely different.
Because Phil Valentine was surmising the remnants of his priesthood ended up becoming the Levi priest. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, they deal with that deals with animal sacrifices and all that, but that was not performed within Akhenaten's circle. They wasn't about that. He was about reforming a whole. He was trying to he was dealing with opening up what they call a gateway or a portal to what they call Rhine and Sirius. That's what they were supposed to be about. And in ancient Egypt, they understood those people who were gatekeepers. So Akhenaten, him being what they call a hermaphrodite, they were the ones who were considered to be gatekeepers in ancient times. And they would be the ones that could locate these, what you call electromagnetic fields or portals that would align themselves with the stars. And that's why he built the city, you know, but they advanced because he spoke multiple languages. And as you could look it up, he had different scripts where he was writing. He was writing it in hieratic script. And that was a script that was used for like religion. The Demotic script was more so for, you know, political purposes. So there was letters that Akhenaten sent to other kings that, you know, then you have hieroglyphics, which was the pictorial script. So Akhenaten was very versatile, you know, but he didn't. And so there's a whole nother side to it. It really just became degraded, and basically because Akhenaten, though he was bisexual, so he did have 6 daughters. You know, he also liked men as well, because that was in his nature. And so he
Didn't Akhenaten have both parts too? He had breasts and they say he was he had 2 parts, right?
Well, he was womanly. He didn't have like, as far as he was shaped as a woman, like womanly.
Right.
But he had penis because he had, you know, he gave birth to.
Yeah, I did hear he was kind of, you know, bad. You know, I heard that before. It's the
But
first time I heard
didn't
that.
Yeah. So
The hermaphrodite, the fact that he was a hermaphrodite.
That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, gay stuff going on in Kemet. Also,
I don't know about that.
I think the white man took it to another level with dogs and everything, you know.
Yeah, he was bisexual, but it wasn't on the term of, see, the Greeks, they had sex with everything. They try anything sexual. They dealt with bestiality. They dealt with orgies.
And the laws of Ma'at, the laws of Ma'at say don't label men, right? Men don't label men. So if you got to make a rule, that means somebody did something. If I got 180, right? So somebody labeled men in ancient Egypt, Ma'at time.
One more question about this Akhenaten.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In his scripts, in his writings, didn't he denounce homosexuality?
Well, man, it's one of the books that was. Oh, he had the hymns to Atun, right? There was one called the hymns he made up. And I don't know if he talked against homosexuality, but see, it's 2 different things. There's 2 different types of it. So, and this is kind of like a newer doctrine, but this is what Dr. Malachi York has told us, that there's a difference between hormone sexual. Okay, so there's 2 different things. So homosexual is someone, when you listen to the word homo, so you understood that as 2 men or 2 women that have the same nature would be considered to be homosexual. But a hormone sexual is after mixed his DNA with the same gender, then they became hormone sexual. Because once they mix their fluids with each other, it's not just because now you have different genes working in between each other. And that's when they go and set out for pleasure. You know how they say your hormones is raging when you have certain hormone sexual is somebody that goes in for pleasure, and they get stimulated by either gender. It doesn't have to be somebody who are other women. They're stimulated. They want to be stimulated sexually, no matter what it is.
So I'm asking you a question: is that normal for ancient Egyptian to get them off?
See, we try to say you may not like, but I'm gonna go in different directions here. So normal, right? Of course, normal is between a man and a female,
right?
Because you need to produce. However, when you deal with DNA can be structured on the street, and if it's another woman or if it's another man, they like the same gender. That's not something that they were converted to know anything as far as homosexuality. But we know that it exists because it deals with someone's nature, meaning that they were born that way, not converted that way. You know, or a male spirit inside of a male spirit inside of a female body. So there's people. That guy, what's his name? Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, right? He got children. Right. He has daughters, right? So he was born. As soon as he gets to a certain height, he changes his whole entire sexuality. Cuts this thing off. and I don't know if he ever said that he was gay, but he said he wanted to be a woman. So that's why the female spirit inside of a male body.
So basically, like engaging.
Right. A feminine
So, you
spirit.
know, like what the scientists be talking about, they be trying to prove is that like, like the homosexuality and stuff like that. I'm not trying to be funny, but that's kind of like what I kind of got off what you were saying. I was trying.
Yeah, it's not science of it. It's what happens once the woman becomes pregnant. Okay, and so it goes into the science of, you have to know the science between the spirit and the soul. So the space inside of a woman, the semen is moving towards the egg, right? But it's an invader to her womb, because it needs to wipe away these millions of sperm cells. And if that sperm cell is lucky or fortunate, it mates with the egg or the ovum, and then it's mounted in the egg itself. You follow me? At the time that the sperm and the ovum hit is in darkness, nobody sees it, but the shell of the woman. And that spirit could be either male or it could be female, meaning that it could either produce a higher amount of. So what I'm saying is that there's always a masculine and feminine principle that always exists, male, and there's no such thing as an absolute female.
Yeah,
you see, everything is there's things that you do that's feminine. In other words, things that are feminine is your creative ability. People who are musicians and singers, they're using feminine quality. But the man that goes masculine, because he's using the calculative abilities, because it's two different hemispheres of the brain.
So can actually be a woman by the science
parts,
but have
exactly, like thinking, like how they say think like a man thing. What I'm saying is that there are people that walk amongst you that have different degrees of sexual, like Prince, who may be seen to be androgynous and have a feminine quality, but he like women. He don't like, and there's all these different types of it. There's people that's bisexual, transsexual, transgender, all of but all of that deals with the DNA when that person was first born and when they came out of their mother's womb, and how they developed. People go through molestation. People go through different events in their life of sexuality. So it's this the gauging, or this is that type of thing, because it's complex. It's variable. Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah, I get it. Make perfect sense, bro.
I got another question.
Yes.
We all over the place, man, but we on science. Bring it down. This is the last couple of shows. Sound right, reasoning right. What's older, Tammuz or Haruf? What's the older deity? What's the oldest deity?
Which one is older, Egypt or Sumeria?
Right.
Well, Egypt would be older because they found an airphone tablet.
Okay. So a lot of people put Tammuz. The Tammuz.
They were the equivalents, as well as in Egypt. So they took that whole, like, Tammuz was the son of what's the name? He came from one bloodline, was coming from Enki's side, and then the other side was from Enlil's side. So Mesopotamian area. So he was considered to be the Yahweh of that Mesopotamian area. That's why you see it in the Zemuz.
Right.
That's in the Bible. So Tammuz was that figure who was considered to be that Horus or Harar, who was considered to be the savior or the Christ or the Christ that was of Osiris. They considered him to be the spiritual son of Osiris or Asar.
And the Sumerians were first cousins. So by them being first cousins, they have a parent. Further sons went separate areas, and depending on the area that they found it, they came up with their own religion. But in a sense, it had to be similar because they had a background of originality from one place.
That's what I pretty much gathered. Like, I read a book by Drusilla Houston, and she talks a lot about Kush. And if you listen like a lot of old school stuff, they'll tell you too that that Kush is older than Egypt. Manifest, the white so-called history, white first historian. Even when he spoke about Kush, he said that he went to them. He said it was a colony of Asar, and that's why Asar was so heavily worshipped. And he spoke, it's actually on the earth. But that Kushite civilization, people like to think it was just in that little cut at one point in time to the west and the east. Like over there in India with the original Arabs, the Cushitic Arabs and stuff. But so that back to what she was saying, Stu, about them being first cousins, and that parent stopped at the Cushitic stopped.
Think of the name of the place before Egypt. Not Tai 7. It was another where they all got together, but it was a place further down south before Egypt.
Yeah, Napata.
Not Napata. It's something else. I wish Elder Ramesh was actually Great Lakes region. That was the original place where all the commerce. But I just keep forgetting the name. And I can't believe True Born can't tell me the name.
At the foothills.
But I'm saying it had a name that they called it where everybody was meeting, and that moved up now, but it was further down south at first.
It wasn't like Punt. I think you heard about that.
It might have been Punt.
Yeah, that's the.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
that's what
Punt
he
was
said. That's what
Arabia.
he said. That's what he said. But yeah,
Yeah, because that's where Egyptians got a lot, their goods from, like incense and stuff. And a lot of land, the punt.
Punt would be Arabia.
Yeah.
hmm
And Arabia still got the spice game on, like they were still holding it down.
Well, this won't point then. I'm gonna just check. It was on my time I said it, man.
I can't remember. They started with it, and I only thought he was saying it, but it sounded different.
Still, a lot of shit stuff like Meroe, over there in Nubia. I'm trying to help you figure it out. I don't know.
Don't worry about it. I'll leave it alone. I shouldn't have brought it up if I can't think of the real name.
his brother Nabat.
Yeah, Robert.
Yes, sir. What we were talking about earlier today? Remember we was discussing? You know how you broke down the Bible about Abraham and Hagar? Yeah, we're talking about like Sarah Sue said it, right? They weren't real. Right. They weren't real. You know what I mean? Just use the Bible, breaking it down, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, well,
man.
Well, I just say that we have to keep it in terms of the history and what can be corroborated across multiple cultures, and that these group of people who came from the east, the land of Abraham, who came into, they brought in foreign culture. Can I be heard clear?
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we can go more into depth on that because I can't really recall. I was kind of in the moment that I think that it ties into a lot of the corruption that happened throughout Africa and back into Africa, because that actually falls in line with what we're talking about right now, because certain Cushites left Ethiopia thousands of years ago and traveled across the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, started mixing our blood, our African blood, with these Asiatic births mixed seeds, and this is what came back into Egypt. To set up what they are calling it. Basically, all falls along with, the historical record. But what we need to do is religious text where, it may mention a particular religious figure like Jesus Christ, that person, as it is recorded in that book, actually existed. And that's what I think I'm as teaching is that a lot of these characters or the stories surrounding these so-called characters are completely invented, who we're really talking about. So in regards to the so-called character, not talking about white man, that came to save everybody's sins, that can turn water into wine, control people's minds. But indeed, it was revolved around certain real figures that existed, around taken from Haru, as we know, ancient Egypt. So they merged the characters of multiple real. We now find in these religious texts, and that's the spell that we have to break and distinguish in record to be able to to follow, to get back to the origin of our story.
Yeah, because there's multiple, like you were saying, like, matter of fact, there's a book by this guy. He's a white guy. His name is Kersey Graves, and it's called The World's 16 Crucified Saviors. And, he speaks of 16 different types of stories that, Heru, Tammuz, and I think a couple of other deities, further east, and it all has the same story. So, so I think that.
Was that clear to everybody? I communicate, but.
Oh yeah, I understood.
I see Stuart putting some maps up there for someone on screen. Y'all see it? Y'all see it on screen?
Yeah. I see it. Yep.
Oh no, this is just some of the stuff on to talk about the first words and how they compare the of the words from the Proto-Bantu speaking. Remember I was talking about that. I actually want to found, but I'm tired, man.
Can we find the word for tree in the Bantu? You tired as hell.
In the barbecue ribs.
I K and the U sound, or the K and the A sound, and but this is, man, the other day I'll talk about it, but I don't know for sure, and I don't want to say it is or not, but it's very interesting with the sounding out with the, even when you get to the sun and the moon and how it comes from the stick and the cold and the black. Maybe another day. I didn't know I had actually showed this, so y'all, let me get it. I didn't want y'all to see this. I was doing something else. But yeah, y'all.
Hey, but guess what though, man? Just paying attention, brother. But yeah, when this time going on Friday, we gonna get back together.
Hey, look, it don't matter, man. Y'all just, matter of fact, let me start recording, man. Hey, you know what, man? Y'all gotta tell everybody where they can find y'all at, man. Y'all can go one by one.
I'm there. I'm friends with the brother. Damn, I'm getting tired too. North Carolina, brother run away. I'm still in the learning process. I don't know everything. I can add to, take it from, whatever. And my page, like I said, on Facebook is Nev Amun Ray. Amun Ray. All right, I'm done. I pass the mic to whoever next.
Yeah, we definitely had a good discussion. Y'all can look me up on Facebook. You can see it right there. I look forward to the next one.
I'm out.
I enjoy always thoroughly, but I actually hung up. I can't believe I'm not asleep. But you can find me on Facebook at Mona S. At time that I'm able to join. Lunar Rest, everyone. I wanted to say that too. Lunar Rest.
Dental Raye. You can find me on Facebook. Right under my name, Dental Raye. You can just look me up. You'll see me. And I've just been doing. I do some Facebook Live classes as well. And so you can find some of mine. And yes, we can find me.
True born.
Yeah, Ricky.
Yo,
Master. Yeah, let people know where they can find you, bro.
Y'all can find me on Facebook on Ricky Williams. It's the main thing I got. I don't really get too much in that social media. But I drop a little jewels. Share, try. I enjoy talking to everybody, and I enjoyed the convo. I appreciate the invite, Stu. I just wanted to say everybody peace and y'all be safe out there.
Peace.
Hold on, don't hang up, y'all, because we're gonna discuss what we're gonna talk about next show. I think True Born already also with that peace family.